The safest seat, the gunner. The gunner sits low on the right side of the turret, just below and in front of the commander, with his face pressed into a stabilized sight. He never sticks his head out. He is sealed inside the crew compartment, behind the thickest frontal armor the tank has, for the entire fight. Everything about the position is built to keep him buried. He finds the target through the sight, laces the range, and fires. He does not open a hatch. He also does not touch the ammunition. He's just the crewman with the least reason to ever be exposed to the outside world, and the record actually backs it up. During Desert Storm, Abrams tanks took hits from Iraqi T-72s and anti-tank weapons, and not a single M1 crewman was killed by enemy tank fire. When you're the man welded behind the most armor, with the fewest reasons to open a hole to the outside, you are, statistically, in the best seat in the vehicle. Which is exactly why the gunner is the least dangerous job on the tank. The loader. The loader stands on the left side of the turret, and unlike the other three, his job is physical. Every time the gunner calls for a round, the loader hits a knee switch, an armored blast door slides open, and he hauls a 120mm round, the length of a man's leg, out of the rack and rams it into the breech. Here is the part nobody puts in the recruiting video. When that gun fires, the breech recoils violently straight back into the turret, into the exact space where the loader is standing. There's a guard that swings down to keep him out of that path, and the crew drill has a specific step for it. Clear the path of recoil before you arm the gun. Because if you don't, the breech block coming back doesn't break your arm, it takes it. He's also the man who controls that blast door. Those doors are the single barrier between the crew and more than 30 rounds of main gun ammunition. And every time the loader opens them to grab the next round, that barrier is, for a moment, open. So the loader trades the gunner's sealed safety for a job that swings a live gun breech past his body a few feet at a time, in the dark, at speed. The armor still protects him. His own machine is what he has to watch. The driver. The driver isn't in the turret at all. He's alone up front, reclined almost flat inside the hull, steering 60 tons with what feels like motorcycle grips. Crews call it the best seat in the house. It is also the most isolated one, and this is where it gets uncomfortable. The Abrams has no floor escape hatch. Older American tanks, like the M60, had a hatch in the belly you could drop out of. The Abrams deliberately doesn't, because a hole in the floor is a weak spot, and the floor is exactly where a mine or a buried IED hits hardest. So the engineers sealed the belly to protect the driver from the blast. The trade is that his only way out is up, through his own hatch. Now picture the problem. The driver's hatch sits just forward of the turret. If the turret is traversed the wrong way, it blocks that hatch. If the tank loses power or the turret jams from damage, the crew can't rotate it clear. The man up front is then locked inside a machine he cannot climb out of in the one seat closest to the mines. And the belly is the tank's real weak point. During the IED war in Iraq and Afghanistan, purpose-built mine-resistant trucks, MRAPs, turned out to protect their occupants roughly twice as well as an M1 Abrams against exactly that kind of underbelly blast. The driver sits right on top of the surface the tank protects least, with the hardest exit in the vehicle. The deadliest seat. The commander. The commander has the best equipment on the tank. Independent thermal viewer, override of the gun, a full picture of the battlefield. And to use all of it the way the doctrine wants, he does the one thing everyone else spends the whole fight avoiding. He opens his hatch and puts his head out. It's called fighting unbuttoned, or head out. No sight, no periscope, no camera, gives a crew the awareness of a human commander looking around with his own eyes. Spotting the infantry creeping up the flank, the ditch, the movement in the tree line, so NATO tanks are commanded head out on purpose. The commander trades his armor for his eyes, and the enemy knows it. A round that only dents the turret still kills the man standing out of the top of it. A sniper who can't touch the tank can touch him. This is old, and it is consistent. From the Second World War to Ukraine, the tank commander is the crewman most likely to become a casualty from a hit that the tank itself shrugs off. In the war games built on real loss data, crew killed almost always means one thing. The commander lost his head to something that never even penetrated. The best seat for winning the fight is the worst seat for surviving it. That's the trade every tank commander makes every time he opens that hatch.